Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And become a member. There's lots of perks. Also, ratex.eth, domain name. So, despite the Veveverse being delayed, and we will get into that later in this video, OMI's up 1.7%. I did go and get a little bit more OMI as of this morning. So as of this morning, I do have 172 million OMI. But yeah, look at that those sweet green lines. Look at those sweet green candles. Yeah, 1.7% up to 00062. I guess people just feel like it's so undervalued. They're used to the delays already. It's absolutely fine. Again, that's just what I'm reading here. As far as other people go, I do know a couple of the people that will get more OMI, potentially at a discounted rate. If it does go back down a little bit once the news kind of spreads, I'll try to get into it a little bit more. I did get a little bit into more on GrumpyCat, and I'll probably continue to do so just because absolute degen play, but the way that Pro the Doge and GrumpyCat are teasing that they might have exchanges at some point in the future, like if it gets enough volume, there's really not a lot of volume now. Like the fact that OMI has more volume than it, which it doesn't have more volume than anything. OMI has about $675,000 in volume right now for the last 24 hours. I think GrumpyCat has like 500,000 in volume, so really not a ton, but I will probably get a little more into that. Again, absolute degen play, but if it works, I will flip into OMI, and if it really works, I'll probably get 180, and I don't know, next quarter, maybe even more. Anyway, moving on. I'll be going live for the Marvel Mighties tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, I'll go live for a little bit, we'll do the drop together. How much money am I'm gonna try to do 20 blind boxes, because the odds of getting a secret rare are about 1 in 19. So I figure 1 in 20, okay, if I purchase 20 of them, I should get at least one. I don't think they'll sell out right away. It would be about $180-something thousand. If it sell out right away, would be kind of hard. There were a couple of complaints about the particular, the way these ones look. Like if you go and look at the first Marvel Mighties, the Captain America ones with Red Skull, there was a lot of minute details that I think, you know, they do get overlooked, but they were there. And on this one, Star-Lord's gun doesn't look too much. Star-Lord's gun doesn't look like Star-Lord's gun at all. Star-Lord himself looks like Foster Hilt. Comment down below if you see that as well. And then you just have a couple other things like the dog. I love the dog. I think Cosmo is adorable. I hate reading people disparaging and sullying her good name, but other people are just not happy about it. So again, for it to sell out $180-something thousand in 1 second, I don't think it's going to do. However, we do have I don't know what that piece of hair is doing. We do have Cosmo as the scarcest Marvel Mighty ever up until the airdrop happens with Rocket. That'll be, I think, on the 31st or June 1st. And with that, Rocket will be the scarcest. I think with Cosmo having 850, which means 760 of them, I think Rocket will have less than 700. So I think a couple of bots might go for this as well. I do expect it to sell out within 24 hours, maybe even within 12. Like I said, 200 or maybe $260, I think will go into just the blind box. And the other like 300 something, $400 will go into buying buying more of the Cosmos or sub 100s, whichever ones I see fit. Someone was asking about the Capcom drop Monster Hunter recently, and they're talking about, oh hey, what day is it actually done? So because if you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then it looks like it should be done on Saturday. And as of Saturday, you would no longer be able to get those Capcom things. But I think it goes by the amount of hours. So I think you'll still be able to buy the Capcom Monster Hunter drops even on Sunday morning. I think it will go until that, I think 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't quote me on that, but the company hasn't exactly said when the actual cutoff is. Is it Saturday at midnight? Is it Saturday during the day? Or is it Sunday exactly 1 week later? Also, as far as the leftover editions, I don't think they get burned. The article wasn't specific, so I think those particular mints that are unbought from the Monster Hunter drops do get sent back to the company. Again, don't quote me on that. I don't even know if they've discussed it yet, but they didn't say that they'd be burned. They just said that wouldn't be available. So I think they go back for the company, maybe for giveaways in the future. The same thing I think is happening with the Thor Love and Thunder posters. Those unredeemed ones, again, out of the 1,090 that there were, only 534 were redeemed. 50% of which are owned by two people. They didn't say they burned the other ones. I think the other ones were sent back to the company. But again, not 100% sure. Moving on. Crypto R Us, the one that always says, I'm George, we are all George. He's the one that said, Hong Kong to legalize cryptocurrency trading. That does happen in a couple weeks. So when you have the Asian markets come in, who knows what could happen, but I'm pretty excited about it. Oh, more news on the GrumpyCat front. Some Doge millionaire says, hey, Justin Suntron, who happens to have 3.4 million followers over on the Twitter, said, I see you also have GrumpyCat. So when GrumpyCat on Huobi Global, I don't know if he's just teasing something or the fact, again, if you have the person that helps run Huobi Global that has GrumpyCat, you're probably going to assume that they're going to have an exchange or GrumpyCat will be on them at some point. Again, I'm just trying to read the terrain here. So in one of OMI's updates that they had gone on and posted about 2 days ago, they said, if the program expands, it will also, our MCP is the program, it will expand OMI. It'll also incorporate ways to supercharge your points, as in MCP points, earned by using the OMI tokens, and give Veve collectors a number of ways to spend their points for in-app perks, items, and benefits. So if you aren't in, the top 500 wallets or even 1,000 wallets, you can use, but you have a lot of OMI, you could use your OMI to maybe get double or triple points, however they're going to work that. Unsure if that's going to be via staking or via burning, I'm not sure. I know this sounds so stupid and I would not recommend any of my whales doing this, but there comes a point in time where, okay, do you want to sell something that is, what do you want to spend money on? Something that you know is going to get the better ROI or something that you just want? Like, for instance, I will say that, and I don't think it's very far out in left field for me to say that Superman is probably going to go up a lot more than any of the Cryptkins. But if you happen to like the Cryptkins, say, okay, I can get a full set of Cryptkins or I can get a Superman. I don't even know if that math works out. I would say just get a Superman. But again, some people are like, well, I like the Cryptkins and I don't really have an attachment to Superman. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I like Luke Skywalker. I really, really like him. I bought 3 of his sub 100 rares when they were around $310. So I listed one for $800 because 1, I take some profit, and then 2, I'd be able to go and use some of those funds for the Marvel Mighties drop tomorrow. Maybe I'll lower it to $700. I'm not sure. Comment down below if you want it. My new whale that I've been advising, though, he was salty that I wouldn't sell it to him for $500. I was like, no, too low. Veveviral had posted a post on Twitter saying, I would absolutely love an ongoing feature in which we could use or burn OMI to buy a random blind box featuring held back Veve official collectibles. Imagine the collection holding anything from a high edition $2 comic to a low edition Miles. There could even be a leaderboard of who's bought the most blind boxes. I bet so many would stream themselves going ham on these. Would also be awesome to be able to gift these all while burning OMI. Maybe IP-based blind boxes if issues with licensor. The only thing I see with that is that, I mean, you could potentially have all the good stuff being taken like right away. I know it is random. Or you could just have a bunch of really crappy stuff. It's just random. And again, a lot of these do go to the licensor. I don't think Veve actually keeps that much. I think it just goes to the licensor for quality checks and all that jazz. Oh, also, as of yesterday, speaking of burning and stuff, 2,676 secret rare gauntlets have been crafted, and 877 of which were used via the secret rare Eye of Agamotto. So 877 of those burned, never to come back again. So I was talking about exchanges before for GrumpyCat, but from Okomi says, April was full of NFT drops, giveaways, the Veve official MCP continued rolling out, we got in touch with Bing X official, and a whole lot more. Harish goes and says, just like that, a new exchange for OMI, finally. Or was it announced previously and I missed it? Okomi says, it has been live for a little while now, but we like to see things in action and stabilize before making them known, and of course to discuss with the teams behind them first. I believe I reported on that a little while ago. I think a lot of influencers did, but it was just in passing, like in a video. Like, it's not something that I would expect to really pump the coin. That's why I didn't cover it. Again. You'd have to have utility, and you would have to have other exchanges like a KuCoin, like a Kraken, Crypto.com, Coinbase, Binance, etc., etc. Also be advised, MetaMask, new update in terms and policy will withhold your taxes. Decentralized is dying as per Ash Crypto Real. saying taxes. Each party will be responsible as required under applicable law for identifying and paying all taxes and other governmental fees and changes that are imposed on the party upon or with respect to the transaction and payments under this agreement. All fees payable by you are exclusive taxes unless otherwise noted. We reserve the right to withhold taxes where required. Looks like this part, like, am I Mace Windu going up and holding a lightsaber to Jango Fett's throat saying, this party's over? Because this party seems like it's over. For anyone that, I would never advise anyone to try to skip out on taxes, because I've seen what happens when people do that. Your life becomes hell for years. And the IRS always looks at you, with prejudice again after that. Anyway, if you were doing that, now is a good time to stop, because you gotta pay your taxes. Like, they will bring the hammer down on you. Also, there's some data on Immutable X that shows, I mean, you could take a look at, oh, hey, how many of these particular collectibles are in accounts that haven't been touched in a year and a half, before KYC. And if you go and you take a look, there's a couple of grails that there's a lot of that are probably locked up, whether it's bot accounts or whether it's just in accounts that, are not KYC'd and they haven't been touched in a long time. Take a look at that. I'm sure OMI Daily Burn can do a video, but just take a look at the grails specifically. There's a decent percentage that is locked up. They did announce today the first appearance of Scorpion in Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man number 20. That is going to come out, I think, on Thursday. Also, a secret rare Miles Morales sold, so shout out to them for that. Mark Hun said, Secret Rare Miles Morales has overtaken Secret Rare Amazing Fantasy 15, just as being a higher price. Somebody, I won't say who it is, says Miles is the most overrated collectible on the app. Clearly a whale loves the character. Into the Spider-Verse didn't even break 400 million at the box office. So I understand that, yes, Into the Spider-Verse, which is an animated movie, which people were kind of, wishy-washy about, even though I think it was pretty good. 400 million, as far as a comic book movie goes, you kind of want to see it at several hundred million higher, or even $1 billion or more. Now, does every comic book movie do that? No. I think Ant-Man made like $500 million, like maybe. So the first Into the Spider-Verse movie made almost as much as Ant-Man, and that has Paul Rudd. That's like the third in a trilogy. It had a lot going for it, or it had a decent amount going for it. It had a good cast as well. The second Miles Morales movie that is coming out, Into the Spider-Verse, or Across the Spider-Verse, should do a lot better. If you take a look at Spidey and His Amazing Friends, it's a kid show on Disney+. It's actually pretty good. Who's the three main characters? Well, there's Peter Parker, and then there's Spidey-Gwen, and then there's Miles Morales. Ask any kid, anyone who's 20 and under, who their Spider-Man is. Who's Spider-Man? Oh, Miles Morales. Again, why not 30 and over? Well, Miles Morales didn't come out until 2011. That's only 12 years ago. Most of us were already like adults, and we grew up in the 90s with Peter Parker, in the 90s animated, and then Tobey Maguire. Like, we've had a lot of Peter Parker, but the newer kids, the younger ones, they've had a lot of Miles. And I feel like Miles' popularity is only going to grow. So when this person says that he's a very overrated character, I think they're 100% wrong. But again, that's just my opinion. Anyway, here is the update on the Veveverse. Veve Digital Collectibles goes and says, we continue to make good progress on the Veveverse. However, as with all new technologies with many moving parts, a few unexpected complications have arisen, particularly with the asset conversion. There are almost 1,000 collectibles to be converted and reviewed. Whilst we are making progress on these, the time required to review and perfect all of the assets is taking a bit longer than anticipated. Additionally, after some feedback, we are making a number of interface improvements to ensure that the Veveverse is as easy to use as possible. Again, they did roll out Veveverse beta, but it was only for like a handful of people. I think it was like less than a dozen. And apparently it kept crashing. They just had a bunch of other stuff to do. This is not on Veve. I don't want to blame anyone. It's just, these things happen. But it's not because of Veve being like feckless or incompetent or anything. It's just the fact that, again, it's a new technology. You kind of have to take the bumps where they are. And this is Cavernous that is building the Veveverse. Again, it's not Veve. Veve has a lot of other stuff to do. It is Cavernous. And again, I'm not blaming anyone. It's just something that happens. But if you're going to blame someone, don't blame Veve. Again, I wouldn't blame anyone. It's just a thing that happens. Anyway, moving on. They say, at this stage, our intent is to have a handful of early testers running around in the Veveverse early next quarter, which would mean Q3. So I would imagine that, yes, a handful of testers would continue to get this in Q3, let's say June, July, whatever. Let's say July to be conservative. And they'll test it out. They'll, like MCP, they'll roll it out slowly but surely to a lot of people. You'll have some people get jealous, but like, I don't have MCP yet. I'm hoping that by the end of the year, everybody has Veveverse, or at least the showroom of the Veveverse. If we can do that, I think that'd be okay. Again, OMI to NFT, which they have been working on this quarter. They'll probably roll out the article for that at some point in June. And then I would say in July, August, September, that's when you would get some form of OMI utility, particularly OMI to NFT. Then hopefully we can get an exchange on Q4. If we can get an exchange at the same quarter we're getting the Veveverse, I think that would be extremely good for the token. They continue on to say, we are just as excited as you to get the Veveverse live, and our dedicated team continues to work in the background. Thank you for your patience and understanding. So yeah. Anyway, outside of that, that's it. Everyone please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye.